Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The reason why I choose to feature this short clip featuring the then Shah of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, in 1976, an interview conducted by the 60 Minutes Mike Wallace, Jewish, is to draw attention to an aspect very important in our society, and that is our leaders. I don't think they are our leaders, and I think our leaders are afraid to name names and come in front of us and tell us what actually happens there. Yesterday I covered a piece of news where Donald Trump claimed that he was informed by the Iranians that they will strike at a certain time the American base in Qatar as a retaliatory strike for the American attack on their nuclear facilities, underground nuclear facilities. And this for me was, okay, well, how about I feature this video in which I have a courageous person who is the Shah of Iran. I'm not going to talk about his character or his methods or anything like this, but he had the courage, like Gaddafi, and these are all considered bad people. Gaddafi and others who dared to name names and name certain interests who we are not supposed to be aware of. And I will mention after I feature this, it's about 3 minutes, the whole video. I will mention Eisenhower and I will mention JFK, and I will add as a caveat Mr. Vladimir Putin, about things that are untold to us. They're kept away from us, like a matrix. So let's make a little bit of history of this. Mr. Mike Wallace, he's Jewish, and he goes to interview in the name of an American media outlet. I think it's CBS. It was 60 Minutes, an Iranian Shah. I would like you to pay attention at how Mr. Mike Wallace seems surprised that the Shah would dare to say in public what he says. Now, the interview is 60 minutes, but when you look for it, you find other reasons like the oil crisis and not this particular subject. And this is about the Israeli lobby in 1976. All right, let's start. Here is there in Tehran, and I'm going to start the video.
On the Middle East, the Shah is committed to a secure state of Israel, but he insists the Israelis must give back the Arab lands they conquered in 1967, and he believes the Jewish lobby in the United States helps breed Israeli intransigence on that matter. In fact, he says American presidents and presidential candidates are too quick to do the bidding of the Jewish lobby.
Surely, Your Majesty, you're not telling me that the Jewish lobby in the United States pulls the strings of the presidency?
Not entirely, but I think even a little too much, even for Israel interests.
You think the Jewish lobby in the United States is too powerful for the interests of Israel?
I think so. Sometimes they are disserving the interests of Israel because
Explain.
they're pushing around too many people.
How do you mean pushing around?
Well, pressuring. They have many means at their disposal. They are putting up pressure on many, many people. And at the end, I don't think that it will even help Israel.
Why, if this is true, why would the President of the United States pay attention to that lobby?
They are strong.
Strong in what sense?
They are controlling many things.
Controlling what?
Newspapers, medias,
Your Majesty.
banks, finances, and I'm going to stop there.
Well, now wait just a second. You
Well,
really
stop
do
there.
believe that the Jewish community in the United States is that powerful? They make the media reflect their view of foreign policy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They do not report, we do not report honestly?
Don't mix things, please. I don't say the media. I say In the media, they have people. Not the entire media. Some newspapers will only reflect their views, yes.
No? The New York Times, for instance, is owned by the Sulzberger family, who are Jewish. Are you suggesting that the New York Times is biased in its treatment of the question of Zionism, Israel's existence, the United States' relationship with the Arab world?
I will have to put all the articles of the New York Times written on this subject and draw the conclusion. You can put this to the computer and it will answer you.
What you're saying is that, yes, you do believe.
Well, let's wait for the answer of the computer.
Washington Post?
The same.
The networks?
Less.
I must say you are speaking with your characteristic candor.
Yes, if you like. I try to be candid. I have always been.
He was even-handed in his candor.
All right.
Next.
So this is what he said. And the guy said, "You're not telling me that. Like, are you crazy to say this?" 1976. Now, it doesn't mean that the Shah is telling the truth. Maybe he's just crazy. Because, you know, people sometimes when they tell the truth, they're labeled as extremists, crazy, don't listen to them, discredit them. Their character assassination, it's called. So, this is an example of a guy who says certain things, I think, with courage. Now, I don't know exactly the context in 1976 to say why would he say that. Was he crazy at that time in which he thought he was untouchable by the Americans or the Mossad or anything like that? I'm not going to go into that. My point is this. Do you remember Eisenhower, the former US President General? In his last day in office, he came in front of the nation and he talked about the military-industrial complex. And he left the office, old and out of the office. They spared his life, I would say. But you have John F. Kennedy, another courageous guy, or some people might say, you know, how do you call it, reckless. He talked about the secret societies in our society that work behind the scenes to undermine democracy and so on. Now that was in 62, 61, something like this. The other guy was in the 50s. And I'm going to go to Putin. I made a video on this one with Putin when he talks about the men in black suits. And Putin was asked, it was by, I think, a French media who asked him. There were two French people, if I remember correctly, if he supports Donald Trump's candidacy. It was the first time against Hillary Clinton when Donald Trump was running against. And he said, well, it doesn't matter, that's for the American people to decide. But I tell you this, and this is again what he said. He said, I met 5 US presidents, that's what he said. And he said, I saw that whenever they came, I think it was 5, when they came into office, before they came into office, they made promises and they were very sincere, probably, in their promises. And when they got into the office, Putin said the next day or within 48 hours or something, there's people dressed nice in dark black suits with ties come in and kind of tell the president how things are ran. And he gave an example, Barack Obama, former president, he talked about closing Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. And he didn't. He said, well, it's one thing, well, these guys, but it's something behind. So I think, I'm not saying these guys, but I'm talking about the courage of the Shah to say certain things that here, now in 2025, you can't say. If you say that, you're anti-this, you're phobe, you're this and that, extremist, supremacist, and all that. Now, I claimed yesterday, and I would have wanted Trump to come out and say certain things. What do you mean Iran let you know they're going to strike the military base in Qatar? Did you let them know you're going to strike their nuclear facilities? So they had time to remove their nuclear whatever they have over there? Is that what it is? The same thing it was, if you remember, with Assad. When Assad allegedly, I think it was, used chemical weapons, blah, 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 blah. And Trump hit an empty military base in Syria with about 86 missiles, if you remember, Tomahawk, and we obliterate them. Again, there is something that we are not allowed to know. And sometimes you have crazies, like, for instance, the other guy, Gaddafi. Remember, Gaddafi said many things. He said, oh, he's crazy. Maybe he was crazy. But in his craziness, he said many truthful things. I can't forget when he talked about Kennedy, who he said killed Kennedy, John F. Kennedy. And then when he talked about you guys here was a African summit or something. I can't remember how it was called. African, whatever it's called. I can't remember right now. You can find it on YouTube if you want. When he said that, yeah, tomorrow it could be you, tomorrow it could be you. The Americans were going to come and get you. And they were laughing, ha ha ha. No, he knew what he was talking about, the Pan-African Union and so on. So again, he named, where is he at? So enjoy. You can find evidence. You can still find evidence. The problem is you have to know to go from one to another, and then you open more, because it's there. It's not erased like George Orwell's 1984 dystopian novel, burned. No, it's there. The problem is it's covered under so many layers that you have to work harder to get it. An example to YouTube. On YouTube, there's many things that are truthful and really controversial. They are there, but you can't find them. Why? Because the suggestions coming from YouTube are with the narrative. That's the way they are. The first 3,000 suggestions by YouTube on a subject. Let's say you say, who controls the American pop-up? Or do these guys control that? And you find people talking about, no, you can't, no, you blah, 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 all in unidirectional. And it makes you think, if you don't know anything about the subject, that look how many people say it's this way. It can't be the other way that I heard my parents talking about, or whomever. But if you dare to go deeper and do the search bar, go down, suggestions, and you go to about, 2,359, you might find people like me, better than me, who will tell you the other side, but you will not get it over there. I will tell you an exact example. There's a guy, his name is Dr. William Pierce, a bad guy. Put his name over there and look what the first few, the first I don't know how many hundreds videos come showing that guy. First is ADL talking, his son disavows him or something, all that. You will not hear his speeches. They used to be. You will not hear anything. You can't find it. But you find everything in one direction. Just do it for me, right? Dr. William Pierce. A bad guy, remember, it's a bad guy. You are not supposed to like that at all, because he's an anti-this, he's extremist and a bad dude, all right? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.